Hey everyone, and welcome back to All About AI Tech. Today, we're tackling a topic that's both fascinating and frankly, terrifying. AI content moderation. Think about it. We're living in a world where billions of people share billions of pieces of content every single day. From cute cat videos to outright horrifying deepfakes. And it's up to algorithms, often powered by AI, to decide what stays online and what gets taken down. So, are the robots doing a good job? Are we even asking the right questions? Well, we'll unpack this mind-blowing world and see it all together. We'll dive into just how these incredibly powerful tools work, how they're changing, and what this means for the future of free speech and online safety. It's going to be wild. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get started. Let's start with Meta. We all know Facebook plays a huge role in how we connect online. But with that influence comes immense responsibility. This is why Meta has this independent oversight board, made up of human rights experts from all over the world. They dig deep into how Meta's AI and automation handle content moderation. Their work is not just about deciding what to take down or leave up. It's about examining the algorithms themselves for bias, for missing context, and how they can improve, all to provide a better online experience for us. This approach is vital. It's impossible to ensure content moderation is fair and unbiased without taking a good, hard look at the underlying systems. In short, we're not just talking about individual posts. We're talking about the massive systems responsible for controlling the very flow of information across Meta platforms. And these technologies are failing. Meta's board has overturned dozens of cases in the past 3 years. One example concerns a breast cancer awareness image wrongly flagged for nudity. Another involved coded hate speech against transgender folks completely missed by Meta's AI systems and left up on a Facebook post for far too long. These issues highlight the critical need for human oversight. You can't just rely completely on AI algorithms because they also don't understand context or culture. They're simply tools, and tools aren't always what they appear to be. They need to be fine-tuned and well-considered just to accomplish the simplest of tasks. One of the most disturbing trends is the rise of deepfakes, particularly non-consensual intimate imagery. Thanks to sophisticated AI tools, anyone can create hyper-realistic fake images. And these are often used to harass and exploit people, predominantly women and girls, without their knowledge or consent. We're talking about images that can ruin reputations, cause serious emotional trauma, and even threaten safety. The Oversight Board is directly tackling this problem. They've made some progress on pushing Meta to improve its system's ability to identify and remove this kind of content. But one of the major challenges remains in understanding that simply applying labels is not enough. The harm stems from the spread and creation of these images in the first place. The board highlighted how many victims of deepfakes aren't known public figures, and thus relying only on news coverage to flag the issue falls dramatically short. It's a chilling reminder of just how easily technology can be misused and how important it's going to be for platforms to stay alert and create systems that can identify and remove harmful content quickly. But it's not just about the tech. We also need to think about the social and cultural implications of such images, how they disproportionately impact the most vulnerable, and the need for robust legal frameworks to deal with this emerging form of abuse. Think of all the elections happening this year. Generative AI poses a huge threat because deepfakes, fake videos and audio, can totally sway public opinion, spread misinformation about candidates in a way that gets voters to change views, mislead people on how to vote, and even threaten the reliability of election results. In Taiwan, there was this deepfake audio of a politician endorsing another candidate. It was entirely false. We saw the same thing in the UK. India was bombarded with fake endorsements and manipulated videos. What the Biden case underscored, even if the video wasn't AI-generated, was that any content alteration can be just as bad as content that appears to be totally realistic. The harm is in the deception, not the technology used to create it. This points to the urgent need for companies to update their policies and to focus on the harm, rather than specifically on the technology. Furthermore, to help combat this, labeling becomes critical, and labeling must be done with transparency and care. If we simply assume labeling will work, we risk ending up with the same problems of bias and the lack of sufficient checks and balances as are already endemic with fact-checking. Meta has been working on trying to add these labels, and we should see this in practice in the coming months. A critical next step would be to establish legal guardrails that require these labels on platforms and that specify penalties and enforcement procedures for those who fail to comply. Here's another major challenge, and one that's often overlooked. AI tools tend to be much better at handling languages like English or French compared to others. This is because these models are trained mostly on content in those languages. The result is that automated moderation systems can be wildly inaccurate in other languages, leading to either over or under enforcement. And this disproportionately affects those who use less prominent languages. This is critical. We can't have a world where only those who are privileged enough to speak English or French get to benefit from a safe internet, while everyone else gets harmed by unchecked information, hate speech, or violence. When we're talking about the design and use of these AI systems, we have to think globally. This also means the evaluation of these tools isn't limited to English language tests. We must include the full range of languages that are used across these platforms to truly understand how these systems work, where their flaws are, and how we can improve them. Let's talk about automation. While automation is great for increasing the speed and scale of moderations, it also comes with some serious downsides. AI algorithms can amplify human errors, and over-enforcement, where safe content is wrongly taken down, is a big one. We saw this with Meta's system that wrongly took down this breast cancer awareness photo because its limited capacity to understand nuances. An even more serious issue caused by automation is that of under-enforcement, where hate speech goes undetected or malicious content evades moderation. And this is often aided by the very clever use of coded language or context-based images. The Polish case from Meta's oversight board highlights how this can lead to dangerous consequences, with a post containing violent speech and advocacy for the death of transgender people left up for far too long because Meta's AI systems missed key clues. This underscores the need for better training, greater transparency, and, again, to never lose sight of the need for human oversight even when deploying sophisticated tools. For social media companies and governments alike, it is vital to recognize the shortcomings inherent in technology to improve the systems in the future. We must use both the power of human ingenuity and the scale and efficiency of AI systems to effectively fight online harms. Things get even more complicated during times of war or conflict. During crisis, there's a surge of content, which can overwhelm any moderation system. Meta's response to the Israel-Gaza conflict, where it lowered its standards for automated removal to filter out harmful content more aggressively, illustrates these challenges. While it did reduce the chance that violating content would slip through, it also led to the aggressive removal of content that was valuable and should not have been removed. In particular, the Al-Shifa hospital case and the one about hostages kidnapped shows this. These cases make clear that companies and governments alike must implement a coherent strategy and not improvise the rules in a moment of crisis. Furthermore, a consistent strategy, explained to all stakeholders, could prevent the chilling effect that results from the opacity of decisions during a crisis, particularly when the potential consequences for freedom of expression are high. Meta uses something called media matching service banks. This is an automated system designed to identify content that violates policies by comparing new uploads to a repository of content that has already been reviewed. While these are incredibly efficient, they can amplify errors. The Colombian police cartoon case is a great example of this. One inappropriate cartoon flagged by a human moderator caused a mass removal of other, entirely innocent images. The high percentage of overturned decisions illustrates how much this system can go wrong and needs greater checks and balances. Imagine a scenario where a valuable political image or video was wrongly flagged by a human editor. Because these libraries of content are automatically used, its potential for error is disproportionately high, and to further illustrate this point, note this example involved political speech and protest against government entities. Now, let's talk about generative AI. It's undeniably useful. For content creators, it's revolutionary, increasing the ease of creating video and image content with minimal effort or financial input. But for platforms such as Meta, TikTok, or X, it's also drastically changing the amount of content and the speed at which content appears. This upscaling means that systems of content moderation must increase their efficiency, particularly if there is concern about the potential for AI-generated content to be used maliciously. While LLMs and generative tools could potentially make moderation more efficient and accurate by better reading and interpreting context, we also cannot discount the risk that generative AI-based tools could be used to bypass current detection mechanisms, and could even exacerbate existing problems, such as bias or the lack of capacity of these systems to understand non-English or non-Western cultures. But, regardless of if it is used for safety or for malice, we also need to address how this technological advancement will impact content moderation given the shift toward AI-driven content. So, what does the future hold for content moderation? I think it's likely a mix of increasingly sophisticated AI tools in tandem with human oversight. We'll need better transparency, more robust appeal processes, and a serious shift in the culture and legal frameworks around how we think about online safety and, more specifically, social media. We can't assume that technology will magically solve our problems. but it certainly seems like the technology is emerging that has the potential to deal with scale at a level humans simply couldn't before. The key is in how we use it and how we ensure that these AI systems respect freedom of expression and human rights. We're looking at this sort of rapid change. The internet continues to evolve, and so should our thinking and our systems. To that end, one of the most exciting recent technological advancements comes from Mistral AI and OpenAI that are developing open-source tools and algorithms to improve the ability to automate content moderation. There's also increased effort from researchers and policymakers alike, especially in the EU with its Digital Services Act, to build strong regulations and better safeguards to ensure that our content moderation systems work well. We also must not forget the human experience in all of this. Whether it's the human moderators facing incredible challenges in their daily work, the users who have their content wrongly removed, or all those who suffer from the harms of hate speech, violence, and misinformation. A robust future of technology necessitates incorporating safeguards, transparency, accountability, and ethical considerations to ensure these powerful tools are used to build a better online world for everyone. This should encompass ongoing efforts and dialogues that involve tech company leadership, policymakers, researchers, and civil society groups, and must be rooted in a commitment to human rights and democratic values. Thanks for watching, everyone. I truly appreciate you joining me today for this deep dive into AI content moderation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the challenges and opportunities presented by AI in this space? What are the most important ethical considerations we need to address? Which of these emerging platforms do you think will take off? And what sort of regulations do you think are or are not needed? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to All About AI Tech for more insights into the ever-evolving world of artificial intelligence. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And as always, thanks for being part of this incredible journey. Remember to check out the links in the description for more information and resources. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.